children hugely absorb our stress. Now, why is this? Well, we all have running in the background of our body, which links up to our brain, something called our nervous system. And it is there to protect us, to keep us healthy. And in children, it's particularly immature, as you'd expect. It's very vulnerable, it's very open, and it picks up super sensitively and quickly on the feelings in the adults around the child. Now, this is really clever because it means that if you are living outside, you're living in a tribe, and particularly the close adults in your tribe go, then of course it goes through the child like super fast. So straight away the child will get to usually the mother, but the safe adult that they know. So it's a genius thing. And you might see it in animals. It's springtime here in the UK, in the lambs. If a lamb gets, a baby sheep gets scared at all, same system, or it picks up something in the mother sheep, it will get straight back to the mother sheep. So it's brilliant. But what it means is that as the adults in children's lives, we have to pay huge attention to our stress levels. So it's not enough just to pretend that we're fine and not talk about it. We have to address it in our bodies, because the nervous system to nervous system, child to parent, particularly, again, this is life preserving, child to mother, is super fast on the child's side, which, as we know, very life preserving. So you can be acting very ha and it's all fine or whatever, but the child will be absorbing all of your stress. So they absorb all of your emotions, all of your energy. And if we think of their nervous system as like a tiny little teacup, it fills up very quickly with their own emotions and very quickly with your emotions. And it's tiny, and they cannot empty their own teacup. Well, I should say the only way they can empty their teacup is in a very messy way, or they learn to just keep trying to put the lid on their teacup, which in the long run is going to have a really negative impact on their their happiness, their contentment, potentially their physical and mental health as well. So I tend to see that in a lot of the children whose parents I work with. One child, the teacup gets filled very quickly, big mess everywhere. Another child, teacups get filled very quickly, and somehow they've learnt to try and keep all the fluid in, which of course means a lot of tension in them. So what can you do? Well, it really is down to you, for your sake, but most importantly as well for your child's sake, to start taking your stress very seriously. It's no good just going on, keep saying, oh yes, of course, well, I'm very stressed at the moment because of this, I'm very stressed. You have a lot on your shoulders. You have a bigger teacup, your nervous system is a mature one, but of course it still gets filled up. So looking at things like what's happening in your work environment, what are the demands of your job? If they are stressing you out really badly, maybe you need to take a review of this. If you've got the opportunity, you might not have to, you might have to stick to that job, there's no option. What about your relationship? If you're parenting with somebody and your relationship is quite a stressful one, then that's two lots of emotional energy that the child's tiny little teacup is absorbing. So it's going to really overwhelm them and stress them out. And that will show up in a child in things like, as I said, their behaviour. Some of them, their behaviour, you'll really see it. Others will try really hard to push it all down and be very, very pleasing. Neither is good, neither is helpful or healthy for a child. It might also show up in their physical health and their mental health. Children cannot cope by by being surrounded all the time by ongoing stress. Of course, they can't escape it, but it will have an impact, and it's something that seriously you need to take, put it to the front of the queue. So you might need to reach out for support to an organisation. If you are living in potentially even an abusive relationship, then maybe it's time to look for some support. Do it very carefully, whatever you're doing, but it's not sustainable. Or maybe it's just that you and your partner, you just really need to reconnect in a way and sort out whatever is causing so much tension between you. But I just implore you not to ignore it, because your child's nervous system is probably spending a lot of time in big energy, panic, nervous, fight, flight, and that this is while it's forming. So it will learn to do this a lot of the time, and it won't unlearn it. So for the rest of your child's life, they will spend most of their life like this, or it might shut down a lot and completely they space out a lot. Again, both these things are going to make their lives really hard. And of course, the saddest thing is that you absolutely love your children and you would never wish to do this to them for a second. But it's easy to just keep pushing it to one side. And then, of course, looking at the child and their behaviour and receiving it and perceiving it as a real problem, as, there's something wrong with them, and trying to maybe control it or look for a cause. Well, the cause very often, of course not always, but very often, start by looking at yourself in a very compassionate way, because we only ever do our best as parents. How stressed are you? And then kind of move forward from there. So seriously focus on your stress, on reducing your stress. I will put a link to a video that I did with some super simple calming techniques. Now, they're not the the major magic one, but they do help, and it's like good medicine. We have to take this stuff seriously. So I hope that's really helpful to you, because we try so hard as parents, but something like this will have a massive lasting effect. So lots of compassion for yourself, and begin the steps to start seriously addressing and reducing your stress.